Hello and welcome back to my channel, guys. So today's video is going to be what I actually used in my hospital bag because I wanted to kind of do a roundup of what I brought versus what I used. So it's kind of like a reaction video to my other video that I posted a few weeks ago. I'll link it down below in the description if you guys want to go check out and watch it and kind of like see everything that I packed for myself. But today's video is going to be kind of like assessing what exactly I packed and what I ended up using. We stayed at the hospital for way longer than I expected. I was told to only expect to be there for about 48 hours, but because you probably will have watched the delivery story by now. We had an emergency C-section, and then our little baby boy Harrison ran into some complications where his bilirubin levels were too high and he's losing weight too quickly. So we ended up staying there for almost a full 4 days instead of just 2 days. So I think that may have affected what I ended up using versus what I packed. I probably would have packed a little bit differently had I known we'd stay there a little bit longer, but more about that, and I'll talk about each specific item and how they pertained to our length of stay at the hospital. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So first off, I mentioned that I brought the Pixie Mood tote bag. It's like a little weekender bag. It was quite large and I fit a lot of stuff into there. I think it probably could have fit a lot more if I didn't pack some of the things, and I'll go through and let you know what I didn't find being useful for myself while I was there. But it was substantially large enough for me to put everything I need for myself into it, so I was more than happy with that. We had some friends tell us that they also used really like those huge large check-in rolling suitcases, which they were able to fit a lot more stuff into, and I'll kind of run through why I think what we brought worked a little bit better for us. And it may be different for everybody depending on your circumstance, but yes, this bag was huge. It was more than functional for myself, so I was quite happy with that. First thing that I packed were slippers, so yeah, let's just watch that. So first off, pair of slippers. Because I'm having a scheduled C, I'll be in the hospital for 2 nights. I doubt I'll be able to walk that much anyways, but from what everybody told me, you want to be comfy when you're in the hospital, so bring some slippers with you. That way you can have some shoes that you can walk around in that aren't just like your own shoes, and you can slip and slide out of these really comfortably. Okay, slippers, yes, absolutely 100% recommend this. And I was right too. I could barely walk the first 2 days. I was literally bedbound the entire time. Peter had to change and feed Harrison all by himself. I could barely even hoist myself up to sit upright to eat food. That's how much pain I was in with a C-section. So I would highly recommend bringing slippers because I was forced to go to the bathroom afterwards, I think, when they took the catheter out, to make sure I still could pee by myself and I wasn't having any complications. And you don't want to be putting on winter boots or dealing with laces right after pregnancy. It's just a lot. You want a really easy pair of shoes that you can slip on and off when you're getting in and out of bed. You don't know what's on the hospital floors. People walk around it every single day. Also, like, it's a hospital, it's probably gross there. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend bringing some comfy slippers to bring with you to the hospital so you can like slip them on really quickly, go to the bathroom, do your thing, do whatever you gotta do, and then walk back. There were a lot of people in the ward who were doing rounds, kind of like getting their steps and a little bit of exercise in as well. So if you want to put on slippers and just like walk around like the nurse's floor, just go ahead and do that. But highly recommend slippers. That's like the number one thing I tell everybody. You want to be comfortable and you don't want to be walking around in bare feet or just socks because you'll slip. So get a pair of like really great like grippy slippers. You can get them from like Walmart for cheap. If you want to splurge, go to Victoria's Secret. Gap has some great ones. Like I mentioned, Old Navy has some amazing ones as well too. I will try to find the ones that I have. They're quite old actually, and link them down below, but highly recommend slippers, and I would not trade them for anything else. So let's see what else I brought in my hospital bag. Pair of fluffy socks. So when you're in bed, you can be nice and comfy and keep yourself warm. I'm somebody who runs a little bit cold, and I hate being cold, so it's easier for me to be able to take off layers and stay warm. So I threw in a pair of fluffy socks to keep me nice and warm, and there's also grips on the bottom, so it prevents me from slipping around on those really slippery linoleum hospital floors. So yeah, these are good. They're probably gonna get super dirty if I'm wearing them without slippers anyways, but we'll see. I just want to stay warm, and since I'll be in the hospital at the moment, planned for 2 nights, gotta keep these around with you. Okay, so fluffy socks is actually something I did not use. I just found that I was barefoot in the bed the entire time, or I had ankle socks on just to keep my feet lightly warm, because fluffy socks were way too thick for me to slide my feet into my slippers. And whenever I was trying to get out of bed, honestly, the only thing I had on my mind at that point immediately after delivery was efficiency. Whatever's the easiest for me to do, I was going to do it. So ankle socks, because they kept my feet warm and it made it really easy and compact for me to slip my feet into my slippers. I think if I had fuzzy socks on, you'd have the battle of dealing of like material rubbing against material and just like sloshing around a little bit, and it was just going to be too much of a headache for me to deal with. So I never once ever reached for my fluffy socks. And I know some people do say that the hospital can be a little bit chilly sometimes, but for some reason I found my room to be quite comfortable. It was not cold, nor was it hot, so I don't think I ever at one point felt like, oh my god, I need to take these socks off because they're way too hot, or holy crap, I need fluffy socks because I am really chilly in here. So yeah, I didn't personally use fluffy socks. I know some people say to bring them if you want to be comfortable, but for myself, I was more than happy with just regular socks, and I think I probably would have packed a couple more ankle socks so I could have rotated through and changed them. I only brought like I think 1 or 2 pairs max because I wasn't really going anywhere. I wasn't sweating too much. I just left them on for like a day or two each time and then swapped them out. At this point, remember, I could barely touch my feet already from pregnancy, and it hurt even more post-pregnancy having to deal with the C-section incisions. So I just left them, and it was just one of those things I just didn't care about afterwards because I didn't have the mental capacity to. So on to the next thing, clothes. Clothing wise, I also brought some pajamas with me as well too. Everyone said to bring really comfy ones. So I have this black set here. This one is from Adore Me. It's like a long sleeve, really soft, cozy cotton black set. Super stretchy. Going to be easy for me to unbutton, take off, and stretch and nurse if I need to. And it also comes with a pair of pants. The pants are also in the matching fabric as well. Nice and light. I'll have a blanket on top of me to keep me warm. And then I also have a bathrobe that I am going to show you guys next. Oh, I also forgot second pair of socks, a little thinner one, just in case I want to put these on with the slippers. And then the bathrobe. So everyone told me to bring a nice, cozy, fuzzy, warm bathrobe because you want to stay warm while you're there, and the ones that they give you are really thin. So I don't know if this is overkill, but I brought my, I think this is a Victoria's Secret one. It's just a super duper fluffy pink one. Yeah, this one is from Victoria's Secret that I got a few years ago. I love this one. It is so freaking warm and soft and snuggly, and like the last thing you want is a stiff and scratchy bathrobe. So everything that I bought was with the intent of being comfortable here. Let's talk about the clothes. Pajamas wise, yes, I 100% recommend bringing a pair of comfy pajamas for yourself. You do not have to keep your gown on. I didn't find out about this until maybe like the second day in, like at the end of the second day. I asked to switch to a different gown because Harrison had kind of like spat up on me a little bit and had peed on me when I was holding him at one point. And the nurse was like, you don't really need to wear a gown. You know, you can wear whatever you want. So I was like, are you kidding me? Why didn't anybody tell me this? Like on the first day when we got here. I was kind of annoyed about that. A lot of things that we found out we had to learn by ourselves or ask by ourselves. It wasn't told to us immediately in the spot, but like I get it. The nurses are busy. They have a lot of things to do. Can't tell you everything, but yeah, so we found out you don't have to wear the gown the entire time. And as soon as I found out that I could wear my own pajamas, you bet your bottom dollar I switched into mine. The gown itself was great because it was open back, so it's easy for me to take on and off, super easy for me to feed Harrison with whenever we were trying latching and breastfeeding, really easy to go to the bathroom with because I didn't have to pull up and down pants. Just a lot easier to maneuver, but it wasn't the softest material, and as you guys know, gowns in the back are never fully shut. You either have to like tie them or something, so your butt's always flapping in the air if you're not wearing any panties underneath. I was, don't worry. But I switched into my pajamas, and best decision ever. It was so comfortable, so make sure you bring yourself a pair of very comfy and stretchy pajamas. I would recommend a pair of pajamas on the top if you can have like a button down so it's easily accessible for you if you want to breastfeed and to take it off, rather than having to take it off over your head every single time. It's kind of a process. This way you just like unbutton it and then you just open it and it's like wham bam, thank you ma'am, to your baby. They get easy access to your breast milk. Trust me, it's gonna be so much easier to do that than to wear like a pajama top that's like really long and you have to pop over your head every single time. That definitely was something that I think is necessary, your own comfy pajamas, depending on how long you're gonna stay there too. Maybe bring 2 sets, because I didn't find out that I could switch into mine like until halfway through. I only really wore my pajamas for about 2 days. But yeah, I would say maybe bring like 1 or 2, like a second one as a backup in case your baby spits up all over you or there's accidents or something. It never hurts to have more. But yes, 100% comfy, soft, cozy pajamas. Highly recommend. The bathrobe, that's another problem here. I never once used my bathrobe. I was in bed the entire time, mainly because I had a C-section and I was recovering, so I was never really going anywhere, or did I have the capability of going anywhere that warranted a bathrobe. So I don't think I would have brought it again next time if I was to go into a C-section again. I don't know what the difference is like when you have a natural birth, if you can walk or not, since I didn't experience one. I have no idea my point of reference to work off of. I didn't find the bathrobe was useful at all because I had blankets in the hospital. Like I said, the room was fairly temperature controlled and fairly comfortable, so I didn't have any problems with that. And then also the bathrobe was just like a really fluffy one, which in my defense, it is a very warm and cozy and comfortable one when I wear it at home, but that's because I'm walking around doing things, so it's not bunched up on my back. If you're gonna be lying down in bed with a bathrobe and it gets like really thick and it's difficult to maneuver around to like do things to your baby, eat food or just like clean yourself up or go to the bathroom, don't bring it. If you want to bring something to keep yourself warm, bring like a soft fuzzy knit cardigan that's like shorter and easy for you to take on and off really quickly, a zip up hoodie. Anything that has easy access in the front is what I would recommend when it comes to the hospital. They're going to constantly come and check your blood pressure with the cuff on your arm, so you're probably going to have to take the sweater off anyways. You're going to want to be breastfeeding if you can, so I would just recommend anything that you can do to zip up, unbutton really easily, drape over your shoulders. That's what you should bring with you. But yes, no bathrobes. And then I did mention a second pair of thinner socks. Yes, I would recommend more thin socks than thick ones, just because it's easier to layer and to put them on and slide in and out of your slippers. You don't want to be dealing with anything where you're like shoving your foot in and it's not getting in and your foot's like hanging half off the slipper. Like I said, efficiency is key after birth. You don't want to deal with anything that takes too much extra effort or time or energy to do, because that's just going to get frustrating. So let's move on and see what else I brought. I brought my Tiki's rubber waterproof ones that I usually bring with me on the beach. And I just have a plastic bag to throw them into, so that if I don't have time to wash them down and keep them clean after my shower, I can just plop them into here, wrap them up, and then bring them home and wash them down in a shower at home. Okay, so I didn't shower at all the entire time I was in the hospital. That may sound really gross because I said I was there for 4 days, but if you watch my delivery story, then you'll know I literally showered the night of before my water broke and I wound up at the hospital. So I was fresh going to the hospital, like straight clean. It was as if Harrison knew that he was coming. He's like, don't worry, Mom, take your time, get yourself clean and freshened. We'll go to the hospital. I'll come out then. It's okay. He probably wasn't thinking that, but it just worked out well. So anyways, I didn't end up showering at the hospital at all. Also, mind you, I could barely stand up and take myself to the bathroom. So I don't think I could even have the capability of standing in a shower for like 20 minutes cleaning myself off. So I never ended up using the flip-flops. If you are capable of using the bathroom though, I didn't even see what the setup was like to see if they have chairs in the shower for you to sit down and wash yourself with. They probably do, knowing how painful a C-section can be and how much pain you can probably be in from a natural birth too. Listen, again, like I said, I didn't shower, so I have no idea. But if you do want to shower there definitely are showers and bathrooms. I would 100% recommend bringing a pair of rubber flip-flops in so you can keep yourself fairly hygienic when you're in there. You don't want to be walking around bare feet and picking something up. The last thing you want is MRSA from the hospital. That's not fun. So yeah, bring flip-flops and bring a bag to throw them into so that you can bring home all the dirty stuff and clean it afterwards when you get home. But yeah, I did not use my flip-flops once. I probably could have not brought it, but it's small enough and something that I could easily pack into my bag without really like taking up too much space. So I was more than happy to bring that, as opposed to my bathrobe, which took up so much space. I don't recommend bringing that huge fluffy bathrobe. Let's move on to the next stuff, which I think is clothes that I packed to wear home afterwards. Clothing wise, for my entire pregnancy, I really enjoyed having my tummy supported and lifted. So I brought some of my blankie pieces with me. This is one tank top. It just like really hugs in the tummy a little bit and gives you a lot of support. If I have a C-section, I'm gonna probably still have a lot of like empty space there afterwards anyways. I don't know if it's the best idea for me to be wearing white if I'm gonna have like stitches and band-aids everywhere, but it does what it does, and this is not really a tank top for me to like show off anyway. So as long as I'm comfy and it gives me support, it's a nice layer underneath, especially since I'm supposed to be having my C-section at the end of November. When it's a little bit chillier, I want to make sure I can layer sweaters on top of this to keep myself nice and warm. So I brought 2 of my blankie breastfeeding nursing friendly bras. I don't usually wear bras to begin with, you guys already know that. So these are purely just for support and so that I don't leak all over my clothes. But these are actually really comfortable. I tried them on already prior to packing them into the bag. They're a little bit big for me, but I do know that your breasts do engorge a little bit once you start breastfeeding and your milk supply comes in a little bit. So there's gonna be lots of space for me here. I really like these because they are clip-on friendly. You just kind of like click it off right there, pull it down, you can breastfeed, and then when you're done, you click it right back in. So I brought 2 of them just in case, and I will be wearing these underneath everything so that if I do need to breastfeed, I can easily whip out my boob, and it's very accessible to the baby with these. And then also underwear. I actually brought period underwear with me because I knew that I wanted underwear that was like super absorbing and wouldn't get damaged easily like any of my nice underwear. And these ones are actually quite large and a little bit more oversized for comfort. I wanted like really stretchable, comfy underwear. So if I bleed all over these, that's fine. I'll just throw them in the wash. That's what they're meant to be. My original intention was for natural birth, so that's what I was going to use it for, and then to put those huge maxi pads inside. But we'll see now if that's the same condition since I'm getting a scheduled C-section. I might actually want some other like comfier and looser clothes too so that I have space to breathe down there. All right, so clothes that I brought back. A lot of those things I didn't end up using, and a lot of things I did. So let's first talk about the tank top. So I didn't end up using that because I found that I wanted everything to be very, very loose postpartum. During pregnancy, I want everything tight to keep it up right and to keep everything kind of like secured in place, but afterwards I wanted nothing involving touching my incisions or that was like uncomfortable and too tight for me. So I actually opted for my t-shirts and my sweaters that I brought, and Peter actually went home a few times during those days in the afternoon to kind of like clean up the house, clean up where my water broke, take care of Kobe, and I got him to bring me back t-shirts and sweaters. So I actually ixnayed that tank top and opted for loose t-shirts instead because they were a lot more comfortable, and layered it on with my zip up hoodies. I essentially went for my like university student uniform, which was like loose, comfy everything, and I'm not mad about it. I know some people like to wear like comfy, cute clothes that are like tight and like form-fitting and just look cute when they leave the hospital. That was not me. I just wanted to wear whatever was comfortable to make myself feel the most zen possible, and that was sweatpants, sweatshirt, and a loose t-shirt. So yeah, I brought those. The nursing bras, 100% I used those. We did nurse in the hospital a few times to try to develop a latch for Harrison. We're still working on that right now. He wasn't latching the best, and I'll go more into depth into that on a later video as like what we've been doing for kind of like our latching story and for breastfeeding, because we've had kind of like a hard time getting him to exclusively breastfeed. We've been bottle feeding him with express breast milk and pumping it, but besides that, I wore the nursing bras in order to get him on and off, and it was really easy for me to just quickly clip them off and to get him on and to clip it back up again. I also put in nursing pads in the bras as well too, to catch any letdown or leakage that I had, which was great because I was starting to leak everywhere now that he was starting to nurse a little bit, and it's not nice when you just have like wet t-shirts everywhere that you go. So definitely recommend bringing some nursing pads with you to slip into your bra. Then last but not least, I also mentioned the period underwear. So that was originally planned for when I had a natural birth, and as you probably already saw afterwards in the delivery story, we had an emergency C-section because my water broke a whole week before my scheduled C-section. So I didn't get a chance to use the underwear, and now that looking back, I think it would have been way too tight anyways. The hospital literally gives you everything that you need. They give you these like really weird stretchy white underwear that you can wear while you're there, and they gave me about like 3 pairs. I brought them all home so I could rotate out of them for the first week after I was home too, without having to wear my own underwear that was too tight. They give you all the pads that you need. You can always ask for more if you need to, and we took home any extras with us so that we would have them here for emergencies in case I needed them. But I have since reverted back to my own natural pads, like the Playtex ones, I think, that I regularly use when I have my period, and those are working perfectly fine. But they essentially stock you up with everything that you need. They give you the stretchy underwear, they give you the huge ass pads. Those pads are like this big and then they give you like really thick maxi pads for you to sleep with overnight. Because I had a scheduled C-section, your uterus still contracts and shrinks back to its normal size, because regularly it's like quite small, and then when you have a baby it gets really big and it has to go back somewhere. So as it's contracting, it will still release blood. I am to this day like what, almost 2.5 weeks in, and I am still losing blood and bleeding. So yeah, that happens, but don't worry, they'll give you all that stuff. You don't really have to worry too much about it. I would just say bring it as backup just in case. Your underwear and your pads are gonna be so minuscule and small anyways that it's not gonna take up too much space, so you'll be fine with that. But let's move on to toiletries that I brought with me to the hospital. I'm gonna have a whole bag of toiletries to bring with me. I'll share a complete breakdown in the description below to kind of let you guys know what exactly I brought with me in my toiletry kit, but this is essentially it. Like anything I would bring with me when I'm traveling, I would also bring with me to the hospital. Okay, so toiletries, like I said, I wanted to shower before going in, but I don't know how I even thought this was plausible, because you don't know when you're going to give birth or go into labor or like deliver your child. So it just worked out coincidentally. Maybe I manifested it by telling myself I want to have a shower the day right before I go in. That's partially because I had a scheduled C, but since it was an emergency C anyways, I just happened to have a shower the night before. My water broke and then we went in. So it worked out. I didn't end up showering in there. Toiletries wise, I actually didn't even wash my face or brush my teeth for the first like 48 hours because I could physically not haul myself out of bed. Like I just was unable to do it. So I ended up just like staying there in my own filth, I guess, for 2 days straight. And then on the 3rd day, I was finally able to start brushing my teeth and washing my face. So I did end up using my toiletries. I didn't use it as much as I intended to or thought I would. That was more due to physical boundaries not allowing me to be able to, I guess, utilize any of my skincare Otherwise, I definitely would have. And whenever Peter was able to watch Harrison, I would run to the bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my face really quickly, apply my skincare, and then hop back into bed so I could feel fresh. Honestly, having those like 5 to 10 minutes of escape time to be able to refreshen yourself makes you just feel so much more alive. So bring all your toiletries and your skincare if you need to, because I think it's great to be able to do that and still take care of yourself a little bit. Take care of yourself as you're healing. It's a whole process. Be gentle and be kind to yourself. That's all I can say. Next up is kind of like a little to-go emergency extra toiletries bag. So let's just go check out what I had in there. So besides that, I also packed a small little bag of like emergency toiletries and some other things I may want while I'm there. So this is just like a clear bag that I have. It's like a basic toiletry bag, and I packed it full of like just extra things that you wouldn't really necessarily need right away, but be nice to have. First up is a facial spray. I never once used that facial spray. I was super dehydrated though, because I wasn't drinking and eating enough, because I was just so tired and just healing from the surgery. So if you want to bring that, then yes, it'll be nice to refresh yourself in your own hospital room afterwards, but I don't think it was necessary. I just saw a lot of people say that it was a good idea to bring one. I didn't need one, so yeah, that completely ixnayed from my personal packing list. I probably won't pack it next time. And then after that, we have a sanitizer hand spray. Yes, it was nice to have that. And we did use it a few times to kind of like spray down that little table that rolls up to your bed. But every room is equipped with sanitizer, so you don't necessarily need that. And I think hospitals are very diligent with cleaning things down too. We had housekeeping roll in multiple times. Everybody was wearing masks. So if you don't bring hand sanitizer, totally okay. They should have them at all the hospitals that you're going to be delivering in. It's just nice to have on as backup just in case if you want to. So it's easy to access, especially for if you're recovering from surgery or delivery and the hand sanitizer is too far away from you and you want to eat, you can just take it out of your bag and just like spray things down. So yeah, I would recommend that. I also have a belly oil just to kind of keep myself moisturized in case I get itchy. I don't know why I thought I would even touch any of that stuff for my tummy. My tummy was so sensitive after our C-section that I just didn't want anything near it. They were applying so much pressure during the whole process of the C-section. My uterus was shrinking. I was getting period cramps, like the same cramps that you get during your period as your uterus is going back down to its normal size. And I just wanted nothing to do with my stomach. So I don't know why I thought that I would have the time to like massage and get the oil on. Everything was just so sore and painful that I was just like, no, we're not touching any of this Vic. So I mean, personally, if you are comfortable with applying that to yourself after immediately giving birth, go ahead. But for me, I was like, no, there's no point because you're just in so much pain. It's not even worth it. I also have a Glow Recipe lip balm. This is the watermelon one. 100% agree on this. Bring a hydrating and moisturizing lip balm. I had that lip balm sitting next to me on the little table, the hospital table, the entire time, and I was constantly asking Peter to give it to me to apply to my lips. It's a super hydrating and moisturizing one, so I like that it actually kept my lips really like supple during the entire time that I was there. I didn't necessarily lose a lot of liquid and get dehydrated during delivery. It was more so afterwards when I was sitting in bed and the air was just really dry the whole time because it was starting to enter kind of like the fall, winter cold phase. So I loved it. I would recommend bringing as many lip balms as you want. Obviously one is going to be more than enough because you're going to be there for a few days anyways, but I could not live without this. So yes, bring lip balms. Hydrating ones for sure. Next up is a pack of Kleenex. So yes, while the hospital had things to give you, I didn't necessarily find that they had Kleenex boxes everywhere readily available for you to go and use. They had toilet paper that you could get from the bathroom, but those are like the single ply, like really stiff ones. So I'm actually really glad that we brought our own roll of toilet paper. I forgot to mention this. Peter packed this in his bag last minute. We always pack it with us whenever we're traveling anyways for emergencies. So that's why I didn't think to pack it in my bag because Peter's always the one that brings it. But yes, bring your own toilet paper, like at least one roll, and bring some of your own Kleenex so you can use it if you need to. I have a nail file, a hairbrush in case you do want to touch up your hair if you're taking any photos with your baby, contacts. All right, so I never once used contacts the entire time I was at the hospital. That was just primarily because if I wanted to take my glasses off and I could use something that was glasses free, but I ended up sleeping a lot throughout the day because my body was recovering and I was so tired that I just didn't have time to take contacts in and off, waste them if I was taking a nap, and then just to like take them off and then like put them on again. So yeah, I didn't wear my contacts once. I just wore glasses the entire time, but I brought them as an emergency and they're so small anyways that they didn't take up a lot of space in my bag. Next up are my iron pills. Yes, any sort of vitamins or supplements that you have, bring them all. I took all of mine. The hospital needs to know what you're going to be taking anyway so they can adjust your dosage whenever you're going through the surgery procedure if they have to give you like IV fluids or anything. So I still took all of my vitamins. I would highly recommend bringing all of them. Of course, hair elastics, and I attached a bunch of bobby pins to my hair elastic elastics too. Yes, hair elastics, anything that you need to keep your hair out of your face. I had scrunchies on the whole time. I had an IV that was stuck into my hand that was really, really uncomfortable, and it kind of like hurt, and I had to wait like a full 24 hours for them to take it out. So I actually brought my scrunchie, which was looser, and got Peter to tie up my hair for me because it was easier for him to maneuver. But I'd recommend bringing whatever you need to keep your hair out of your face. If you're gonna be breastfeeding, eating, sleeping, it's hard to maneuver and to not engage your abs as much. So whatever you can do just to get your hair out of your face, bring it. And then nursing pads. Okay, so yes, like I said, I used nursing pads quite a bit because I was leaking all the time beforehand. This is one thing I found that the hospital didn't provide me with. I didn't ask for it since I already had my own, but I'm sure some hospitals do have them available. So definitely check and ask. It never hurts to. The worst they'll say is no, and you can ask your partner or somebody to bring you in some. But I brought my own, so we just used the ones that I had already, and we didn't ask for any new ones at the hospital. But those ones, highly recommend, because you don't want to have wet t-shirts and wet shirts everywhere. So yes, get yourself some nursing pads. Hand cream, and then some body cream as well. Hand cream, body cream, 100% recommend. Like I said, I got super dehydrated. Lip balm, I used the hell out of it. Water, I drank the hell out of it. So bring whatever you need to keep yourself moisturized, whether it be hand or body cream. A bunch of these facial pads. So the face pads, I end up using them a few times when I use my toiletry kit. I don't know why I thought I used them as emergency stuff, but every time I did wash my face, I did use it to apply my toner, my acne serum, so that was helpful. Face wipes, I didn't end up actually reaching for them because I just used my toiletry kit. If you're somebody who doesn't want to go to the bathroom to clean yourself down, I think the face wipes probably would have been a good idea for the first few days when I was literally bedbound and couldn't get out. It would have been great to have them then for me to wipe down my face like makeup wipes, but I actually just completely forgot to pack them anyway, so it didn't benefit me in any way at all. I think had I brought them, I probably would have used them in the first 2 days. But yeah, bring a couple as emergency backups in case you can't walk to the bathroom because it's very painful down there. I also packed some spare maxi pads in here to bring with me. Okay, so yes, maxi pads, it doesn't hurt to bring a couple. Like I said, the hospital supplies you with everything that you need though, so if you do forget to bring some, don't worry, they'll have it for you, and even extras. But I just like to always pack a couple of extras of my own just in case as emergency, because you never know what problems or issues you may run into. And like I said, they're small, so just pack like maybe 1 or 2 and you should be fine, but the hospital will give you everything that you need. Next thing you're gonna want is all of your paperwork. So at the moment, since I have a scheduled C, I have my pre-op package right here ready to go. It's gonna have all my information in here. I had previously printed off my antenatals, which is kind of like my my pregnancy records up until this point, to bring with me to Ottawa just in case I needed them if I gave birth there. So this, along with this and all of like your birth plan information, your health card, and any other relevant info that you need for when you give birth, should all be in your bag. And it's going to be in this little envelope right here for me to give to the OBs and the nurses when I arrive at the hospital. So that's all the busy paperwork stuff. So yes, paperwork, you need a lot of that stuff. I didn't actually end up using any of it because I had an emergency C-section and I was supposed to bring all of my paperwork from my pre-op in so that I could use it for my actual scheduled C, but we didn't end up using it. But bring any relevant paperwork that you do need. Sorry if you guys hear baby crying in the background. Kobe just started barking and woke him up. But yes, bring all of your relevant paperwork and your health card because you'll need all of that, and anything else that you need for the baby. You'll be filling out some paperwork and you're there too. Maybe even like an envelope or a folder would be great so you can keep everything inside of it nice and secure all in one place so that you don't lose it. And then moving on to entertainment. So first up, I have a book. If I wanted something quiet to do, I can read from this. We also have a bunch of our camera gear. As you guys know, we can not go anywhere without vlogging the experience, and I definitely do want to capture all these special moments. So I'm bringing the camera that you guys are watching this on, which is my DSLR, so we can take some nice beautiful photos. I also picked up some film cameras recently from Walmart so that we can grab some film photos as well too. So I'm going to bring 1 or 2 of these with me to the hospital. I also have headphones so I can listen to music on my phone if I'd like. Obviously I'm going to bring my phone with me, and I have Apple Music on there, and I think YouTube Music and Spotify, so if I want to listen to stuff I can. You don't want to blast things, especially if you're in a shared space, which could potentially be what we're in. So headphones, wireless ones, just to make it nice and easy for me. And then a recent addition is my iPad. And then the last electronic I think I'm going to bring is just a vlog cam in case I can document anything on this. Okay, so entertainment wise, I didn't end up reading the book. I was sleeping a lot. We definitely use the iPad a lot as well because I was constantly watching things on like Netflix and Amazon Prime. We didn't end up having a neighbor next to us. Well, we had somebody with us for like half a day and then they left, so I didn't end up having to use any of my wireless headphones. I just waited till they left to use my iPad, and then we just essentially had a private room the entire time. I was supposed to have a shared room though, so it's kind of nice to not have to have like a secondary person in the room at the same time with us. And then for vlog cam, I actually forgot to vlog vlog the first few days because we were so busy and I was so tired sleeping the whole time anyways. So we just ended up bringing that with us, and I vlogged for the last few days and kind of caught up and everything, as you probably saw in the delivery story. And then we didn't even touch the DSLR once. Like, we just didn't have time to. We took a bunch of photos on our phone with the disposable cameras, and honestly, I'm just happy with that. I think at that moment when you're just going through everything and healing and kind of just like trying to take care of an infant, your mind is not really thinking about stuff like that. It's just whatever's the most efficient, and the most efficient thing at that time was definitely my phone. So that's what I gravitated towards. So that's essentially what we ended up using entertainment wise. I think I was pretty happy with my phone and my iPad. Peter had his laptop with them. I didn't use my book. I probably would have. It's just I was so tired. I was going to fall asleep at any moment anyway. So I just figured I'd turn on a movie on my iPad and just watch that. And that was more than sufficient for me. So let's talk about the food now. I read to bring your own water bottles if you can, just so you can consume your own water, because you do definitely want to stay hydrated. We're going to bring things like a small bag of chips, some cookies, I guess some shrimp chips as well, and some candy here and there. We're also going to pack some like proper food like cereal and granola so that I can have that to eat while I'm there. And then I think we'll see what else the hospital has to offer. There is a Tim Hortons on site, so I can always get coffee and food from there. Worst comes to worst, we can always have some friends deliver food for me. I did tell Peter to have a tray of sushi ready for me. Sushi's coming for sure, because you guys know how obsessed I am with it. Okay, food-wise, we definitely got a lot of snacks with us. I didn't end up packing any candy at all because I just wasn't in the mood to eat it. We packed chips, clementines, some cereal, some mini wheats that we picked up the day before, and some granola bars, and that essentially was it. I didn't bring any water because they supplied us with all the water there. I don't know what hospital you're gonna be delivering at, but our hospital gives us like daily food from room service for whoever's there. Like, it was me, not for Peter. And I could order whatever I wanted throughout the day, starting at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at night. So I ordered a lot of meals, like in hospital meals, and then my cousins definitely brought me some food. We had sushi while we were there, which was really nice. Like, you guys know I wanted to have that as one of my first meals coming out. So we didn't end up having to bring a lot of food because they supplied us with a lot. And then Peter went to Tim Hortons, I think like once or twice. And then during the day when he went home to kind of clean the house up and to prepare it for baby, he would eat meals at home there and like take care of Kobe too. So we brought like more minimal snacks and things that I could kind of like munch on. And in the meantime, I was able to get a lot of fresh fruits from room service brought up to my room. So that's kind of how I consumed a lot of my fruits and vegetables. But yeah, I would recommend bringing as many snacks as you can. You can essentially bring in whatever you want. They don't really care, as long as I guess it's not like smelly or intrusive or it needs to be prepped there. Just bring whatever you want to eat and you're fine. And yes, bring lots of water, or get lots of water from the hospital, because you do get very, very dehydrated. But let's just chat about some other last minute things, and then we're going to wrap up this video of everything I actually used in my hospital bag. We have a breast pump here. It's my Philips Advent one. This is the one I'm currently going to be planning on bringing with me, just so I can start pumping milk there. So yes, a breast pump. If you already have one, use it as soon as you can, so you can kind of get into the practice of using one. I found out really late afterwards that the hospital actually has breast pumps there on site that they can loan you to use whenever you need to pump. So just ask them. But I decided it was actually better for us to be able to use my own anyway, so I could get familiar with it, and I could ask any of the nurses that I need for help if they came in and I was struggling. I also started to pump because Harrison wasn't latching on properly the first few days either, and my breast was starting to engorge. I need to get milk out, and I wanted to up my supply so that once he was able to latch, he could get more. So that's kind of why I wanted to pump while I was there. So I definitely would recommend bringing your own, and then Peter would bring it home during the day and clean it for me whenever I needed to, and then bring it back afterwards. And then besides that, we also have one of these like waterproof mats that I think I'm going to leave in the car in the meantime, so that on the way home, if for some reason I do happen to bleed out or have any leakages anywhere, it can line the seat and prevent things from getting gucky. Okay, yes, so afterwards I would definitely say bring a pad if you need to. I don't think it was necessary for me when I was there the whole time. My water broke at home, but I think if you're gonna be driving yourself in, definitely put that in your car so that you can sit on it so you're not leaking all over your car seat. I actually got transported by the ambulance, which was nice, and I had a lot of leakage in there, but we didn't have to clean it up, so it's kind of nice they took care of that. And then on the way home, I don't think I necessarily needed it because they supplied me with all the pads I needed at the hospital, so I was completely taken care of from like a waist down, the butt in the car, and I was comfortable in the car. I didn't leak anywhere. I didn't get anything on my underwear or my pants, so I don't think that was necessarily necessary, but I would say it's nice to have one of those waterproof pads in your car if you're gonna be going anywhere leading up to your delivery, so that you can kind of like waterproof things and not have to like get your car detailed after you deliver. So that is essentially it for this video. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed being able to see what I packed in my hospital bag versus what I actually used and would recommend to bring with you. Most of the stuff I ended up packing, I actually ended up using. There was just a few major things here and there that I didn't end up using. I hope this kind of like helped you guys to work out what you need to necessarily pack in your video. Let Let me know what you think and drop your comments down below as to what you found was super essential for you when you were packing your hospital bag and what you actually ended up using at the hospital or on the way home. I would like to see how like we differ or if we have similarities in the same way. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it insightful. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to be reviewing a couple of other things such as pregnancy absolute must-haves and postpartum must-haves and newborn must-haves, because there's so much more information I want to share with you guys that I've learned from this whole process of being pregnant from start to finish. Man, what like a mind spin, mind F this whole process is. It's very interesting and intriguing. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of me, you know where to find me on Instagram and on TikTok. Make sure to follow me on both of those platforms so you can see more of me daily if this wasn't already enough. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys on the next video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Love you and see you next time. Bye!